Hi everyone. I used to, when I was a kid, really enjoy getting the JCPenney catalog for fall and winter in the mail because basically it was a big toy catalog. Christmas season is coming up. Really exciting to see all the big colorful photos of all the new toys, robots, cars, planes, ships, what have you. And these days the Christmas catalog has been replaced by the summer movie catalog in terms of candied colored goodness that I'm really looking forward to. That, of course, is Mr. Superman. New version of Superman is just about to come out in June. And although I'm not the hugest fan of Zack Snyder, I love the character of Superman, and I'll pretty much see, you know, whatever he is in except Superman for the Quest for Peace. I did eventually get around to seeing that one day. It was actually prior to Superman Returns coming out. And man, it was even worse than I expected it. But this one, you know, we'll see about it. It's a lot of these summer movies I'm uncertain about. There aren't too many that I have my full confidence. One that does is probably Star Trek Into Darkness. Although you know, there's been a lot of discussion about the villain in the movie and who he really is. And I would just prefer to wait and see the movie and find out that way. But, you know, it's hard to avoid all the chatter online, particularly when I visit the movie fan websites, like, every day. Iron Man 3, of course, is coming out. That will probably be really good. Shane Black is a director who's only done one other film, but he's had a long career, of course, as a writer. Done a lot of films that I'm interested in. Though I think that Star Trek Into Darkness will probably be the biggest of those movies, the biggest of the action spectacle blockbusters, just because it's the first sequel in this franchise. Whereas Man of Steel is a complete reboot, like Batman Begins, whereas Iron Man 3 is like the third movie in the series. Star Trek Into Darkness is the second in the series, which means the anticipation for a new installment will be at its peak. Kind of like with The Matrix Reloaded or with the second Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Huge grosses on those movies, not as big grosses for the third ones. So Iron Man 3 is sort of in a little awkward position as far as people, but of course it is a follow-up to the Avengers, so people are really jacked about that, so it'll probably still make, you know, tons of money. The Wolverine. The Wolverine is by James Mangold, a director I like quite a bit. And although I really didn't, I sort of watched X-Men Origins Wolverine, which came out in 2009. Not really, but I did sort of watch it, if you know what I mean. And I wasn't expecting anything from that movie, and I really didn't get it. Whereas this one has the director of 3:10 to Yuma and Identity behind it, and I like both those films. Plus, of course, Mangold's already worked with Hugh Jackman on Kate and Leopold. It's a very different production, but I'm confident that Mangold can handle it. Originally, this movie is supposed to be directed by Darren Aronofsky, who, of course, worked with Hugh Jackman on The Fountain. But he had to drop out because he's in a, you know, sort of a custody situation with Rachel Weisz. She went and married James Bond, so he has to stay in the States and make sure that he's a good dad part of the time. World War Z is the first in series, possibly. So is The Lone Ranger. Both these movies could be all right. We'll see. The people behind them are decent, and I just hope The Lone Ranger is funny. That's what I hope for, is that it's a genuinely funny movie. I know it's going to be wacky and what have you. It's going to have lots of effects and what have you. Just as long as it's funny, then I'll be good with that. Pacific Rim, of course, is the new film by Guillermo del Toro. He did 2 Hellboy movies. He did, think. What is that Spanish film called? Darn it. Gosh, you know, my head is so full of, like, names and titles and stuff like that. Some of them just slip away unexpectedly. Gemma Arterton, that's right. The previous take of this video was trying to remember who the actress was in Byzantium. It's Gemma Arterton. Now I remember that. I can't remember the other film by Guillermo del Toro. Come on, anybody want to help me out there? Anyway, big robots fighting big monsters, so yeah, that's one to check out. Elysium by Neil Blomkamp, is that his name? The South African director who did District 9. I'm not the biggest fan of that movie, but I admire it, so I'll be checking out that one. We have Kick-Ass 2, which should be a lot of fun. More Chloe Moretz, fighting a lot of guys. That'll be cool. There's a sort of 300 sequel coming out called Rise of the Empire. It involves Xerxes and Leonidas' wife, and a new character played by Eva Green, and I love Eva Green, so possibly. Could be okay, we'll see. It's directed by the guy who did Smart People, which is a comedy drama with Dennis Quaid and Ellen Page, so I have no idea, how that will go with the guy directing a big action picture, but, a lot of these guys are technically talented anyway, despite their whatever. Now, I wanted to mention, of course, the 3D factor. And when I saw the 3D trailer for Man of Steel in front of, what was I watching? Something recently in 3D. Come on, think. Oh yeah, Life of Pi. I went to see Life of Pi in 3D. They had the trailer for Man of Steel. And I'm telling you guys right now, you can't have handheld camera work in a 3D movie. It does not work, okay? It's bad enough with the dissolving. That just looks weird. But 3D should be A, brightly lit, B, wide-angle lenses, and C, steady shots, steady, smooth shots, because otherwise it's like you're looking at the movie through a telescope, only now it's binoculars because it's in 3D. It just doesn't look right, okay? You need steady camera work, and Man of Steel is by Zack Snyder, who does not have a lot of steady camera work in his movies. A lot of, at least in the trailers, a lot of handheld camera work. So, Star Trek, Iron Man 3, Man of Steel are movies that I'm not going to be seeing in 3D. However, I am interested in seeing The Great Gatsby in 3D because that's more, it's not an action movie, it's more about the sets and the costumes and being sort of spectacular versus just action-packed. And I saw the 3D trailer for that in front of Men in Black 3 last year, and it looked really good. It looked a lot better than all the other 3D movies I was watching. I remember seeing the trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man in 3D and thinking the only shots that will look good are the ones where he's swinging, that's it. Whereas The Great Gatsby actually looks really cool in 3D. So that's one of the few movies I'm actually interested in seeing in that format. What else we got here? Fast and Furious 6, wouldn't be interested in it except for Gina Carano. Gina Carano from Haywire is in it, and to see her fighting Michelle Rodriguez, that'll be cool. White House Down, new Roland Emmerich picture. It's exactly like Olympus Has Fallen, more or less, but Olympus Has Fallen was fun, and whereas this one will probably just be a little bit too serious, because it's Roland Emmerich, Independence Day and Mr. 2012. After Earth, director M. Night Shyamalan and the Will Smith family, starring in an Avatar movie, only with less CGI. And then there's Red Part 2, a different director this time. Actually, the director of the original Red is got a new picture coming out called, darn it. See what I mean about all facts slipping out of my brain? I just can't remember things anymore. Schwenke, that's his name. What is he directing? I know Louis Leterrier is directing Now You See Me. That actually looks like a decent Louis Leterrier movie. He directed Clash of the Titans and The Incredible Hulk, and I didn't like either of those pictures, but Now You See Me actually looks like a lot of fun. What is the director, what's Robert Schwenke doing? I know he does something that looks actually interesting, I just can't remember what it is now. Darn it. Oh, R.I.P.D., of course. He's doing R.I.P.D. I know that because Mary Louise Parker is in it. Mary Louise Parker was also in the first Red movie. R.I.P.D. is basically Men in Black, only with undead people instead of aliens. So that could be funny. We'll see about that. Here's a couple of more offbeat movies that I'm interested in. The new Brian De Palma movie is called Passion. It has Rachel McAdams and Noomi Rapace in it. The Way Back got a trailer come out recently. It's got Steve Carell and Sam Rockwell, and it looks pretty good. That could be decent. Crystal Fairy is a movie I read about a couple months ago at a film festival. I think Michael Cera and, come on, think, names! I can't remember names, I'm so stupid now. But it was all about Gabby Hoffman, right, Gabby Hoffman playing some sort of weird new character, some new character she's never played before. That could be good. I'm stumbling over my words quite a lot. Okay, Gemma Arterton's in Byzantium, of course, with Saoirse Ronan. They play vampires. You got two young actresses who are assassins playing Violet and Daisy. That's the name of the movie, Violet and Daisy. Rapture-Palooza with Anna Kendrick. She's dealing with the apocalypse, and there's zombies running around, stuff like that. And Thomas Lennon is one of the zombies, and I love Thomas Lennon. Pixar movie, Monsters University, and Planes. Both are Pixar movies. Planes is like Cars, only with planes. But there's also a movie called Turbo, and I don't know who does that, but that could be okay. I saw Despicable Me, but it's very, very much a kid's movie, so rather than a movie that kids and adults can enjoy, so I'm not too big on the sequel for that one. Much Ado About Nothing, of course, is Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon directing his own version of the Shakespeare play with a lot of his stock cast. That's fun. I'll be looking forward to that. This Is the End. That's the movie where all the comedy guys play themselves. Not to be confused with The World's End, which has a whole bunch of British comedians dealing with some sort of apocalypse. I talked about Elysium. Before Midnight. Now, here's an interesting thing. Before Midnight, of course, is the third movie in a series directed by Richard Linklater. He previously did in 1995 Before Sunrise, and in 2004 Before Sunset, and now here it is another 9 years later, he's doing Before Midnight with the same two characters played by Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. And I would really, really, really be excited about this movie just because I love the other two, except that I gotta wonder, hey, this movie can't possibly be as good as the other two. But then again, you know, who knows? You see these characters maturing with time and being different, and I remember just loving the other two so much when I first saw them. And I'd really like to, I actually went to a movie the other day, it was the new Robert Redford movie, and they showed the trailer, and I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear anything. No, I don't want to know anything about it before I see it. Because that's how I went into Before Sunset, and it's sort of like my favorite movies of all time now. So, very interested in that. Here's a cool one. Black Rock is a movie about three women who go hiking, and then they get attacked by a couple guys, and they fight back. Kate Bosworth is in it, and Lake Bell, but also the third girl is actually the director of the movie, so that could be cool. What else do we have here? Lovelace, one of the movies I've really been looking forward to. Amanda Seyfried playing Linda Lovelace, and a really good cast in this, but it's by the directors of Howl, the movie Howl with James Franco, and I really like that movie a lot. Another movie I read about at another couple of film festival movies that are coming out, Ain't Them Bodies Saints, with Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara. Sort of a criminal couple on the run type of film. And yeah, it looks really good. I've read a lot of good things about it. Also, The Spectacular Now comes out in August, and I've actually already seen that movie at the Sarasota Film Festival. Liked it a lot, so that would be a good one. Getting back to action, there's a Denzel Washington, Mark Wahlberg comedy with action in it called Two Guns. It looks more comedic than the standard action movie, and so they're both agents for different agencies, and they're both like competing with other agencies and worried about getting shot and things like that. It looks like it could be fun. I don't know, it could be stupid as well, but you never know. So I don't know if I mentioned World War Z yet, but that's Brad Pitt, you know, playing the action hero and the zombie. I probably mentioned that. This is like the third take I've done in this, so I'm not sure what I've said or not. But anyway, that's pretty much the summer movie preview. And if I haven't given you a good idea of which ones I'm looking most forward to, Man of Steel, Star Trek Into Darkness, Before Midnight, Much Ado About Nothing, Monsters University, and Lovelace. Those are the ones that I'm most excited about. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of you have already looked at the preview, looked at the magazine and everything like that, but those are the ones that appeal to me. And of course I'll be looking at a lot of other stuff as well because I do that. Thanks very much for watching, and you know, let me know what else you're interested in as well. Maybe there's something that I didn't mention that's I'm sure like this list is missing a couple of movies. Oh, one that's definitely missing is Machete Kills, the Rodriguez sequel to Machete, which I didn't really like that much, but the sequel has some really awesome actors in it, and I'm hoping this one will have a more together script. That was the problem that I had with Machete, is that I didn't like the script very much. Too many villains, just too much stuff happening, kind of confused, you know. But he's got that, and he's got the Sin City sequel coming out later this year, so boom! Awesome. Really excited about that. So, thank you for watching. Give me a comment if you want to tell me what you're looking forward to, what you're interested in avoiding. I can tell you right now that Grown Ups 2 is at the top of my must-avoid list, along with After Earth. So, thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.